Welcome to Mainstreet Minds with your host, Amish Munshi. This is where industry leaders and seasoned pros share their secrets to success beyond limits. Let's dive in.
Hello and welcome to Mainstreet Minds. Today we have a very special guest, David, all the way from Florida. And he's enjoying a really nice day over there and has some good success coming his way today. But he took the time to be with us and share his experience and his journey and enlighten us with a very unique solution that he's working on right now. So without any further delay, I'm very excited to learn about everything you are doing. I can just imagine infinite number of opportunities where I would love to use this in my own journey and can't wait for you to give me access to it. So before I get too excited, I'll open up the floor, let you introduce yourself and share your journey with us.
So I'm David Thrower. I'm the CEO and acting CTO for Cerebros. So Cerebros is an Indian platform to enable anybody to personalize their own AI assistant. Now, there's a lot of offerings in the market for, to some degree, personalizing AI assistants, but what we're doing a little different is we're starting the personalization process at the foundation model level. So you have this lake of data that's been indexed. You have a drag and drop platform. You can kind of choose and cherry pick what you want your model to know about, what content moderation, strictness, reading level of formality in its writing, etc., that you want it to take on at the core. Mm-hmm. So you start with a model that's completely a blank slate. It gets trained on the user selected data that's much more has a higher ratio of data that's directly relevant to what you're doing.
Yeah.
If I start with ChatGPT, I've got something that's been trained on social media blogs and SMS messages, casual conversation, and I need it to write business letters. I need it to write invoices. Now, it can do that, but the problem that I'm trying to fix is that you have to give so many details in the instructions to it. You can write those details in directly. You could use a RAG to kind of put some details in it from the back end and deplete the context window while it's at it. Our concept is start with a foundation model that's been personalized to, at least at the high level, act the way you need it to. Then from there, you would upload your examples of your past work, and it would fine-tune that already relevant model to perfectly fit what you do. So when you need it to write a nuanced document, you can just give it high-level instructions. It already knows what information's required. It already knows what questions to ask you if you leave a detail out. You don't have to write elaborate prompt templates at this point. You don't have to go back and forth with it. You upload you just drop a simple high-level instruction, and in one shot you have back a correct and complete document. That's what we're aiming for.
And can I create my own set of existing documents that I may have used?
Absolutely. That's exactly what we're here to do.
Yeah, so the output will have the same level of personality that's there in my existing documents with the same similar theme, obviously done better because it's with AI. So, but it will have that same feel and of what something I would have written myself.
That's exactly where we're going. It takes on your brand voice, your company's culture, and your organizational style.
Yeah, nice. So, what does it take? What does it take to do something like this? Let's say, are you as an individual or as my company, I want to use this. What is the product ready? When can we actually use this?
We're hoping uh, for around a 90-day window. That's the hope. We're currently, we're currently we've currently closed some agreement that's got us some resources to work with. We're trying to close additional agreements that will get us a little bit more to work with than we have at the moment. But we're getting there. We do have a strong proof of concept. So what it's taking to make this work behind the scenes is an LLM that scales in ON timing. In other words,
Mhm.
the problem with the current framework, which is called attention transformers, is what everyone's using. It scales in ON squared timing. That means every time you double the amount of text you're sending through it, you square the amount of work it takes to
Mhm.
process that.
Yeah,
You put in 2 pages, it takes 2 units of work to process that. You
yeah.
put in 4, it takes 4. At first, it sounds like this is making sense. Okay, now you double it again. You
Yeah.
put in 8. Now it takes 16 times as much work to process that.
Mhm.
Um, we've we've solved we have a proof of concept for solving that problem. So because we can send these long sequences through, we can train an LLM on um with a lot less computational power and energy being used to do it.
Mhm.
That's what's going to enable this platform to be able to train custom foundation models and making the training of a custom foundation model no longer a game that only the 5 companies or so have the resources to do.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just amazing what the opportunities are. So tell us a little bit more about how you got started, what got you interested in this, and like how did you reach where you are today?
So, um, in fact, go back several years. I spent several years working in the life sciences and pharmaceutical industry. Um, kind of fell into the niche of the IT, the IT, the management of data, the management of high performance computing resources. And, from there, there was a project I was working on for a client. One client I was working for, there was a life sciences AI project developing a novel medication for cancer that was that um you know definitely increased my interest in AI. I'd always been interested in it since since undergraduate. That one of my areas of study was mathematics and statistics, so that it goes far back. But um one project I was working on, kind of led me into the niche of foundational AI technology. We developed a lot of the tooling that we're using here, trying to solve a specific problem. I can't go too much into the details of it, but basically, we needed to process text and images at the same time. We had a very small limited amount of data to train with. Another constraint that what we're working with excels at. And we kind of saw the bigger opportunity to not just the bigger opportunity, but the bigger opportunity for impact to just build a more general purpose platform around the algorithm rather than just using it to solve one small problem for one small niche.
Yeah, makes sense. So tell us like what does what does it look like on a day-to-day basis? Like how big is the team? What does it mean to be both the CEO and the CTO and have like multiple responsibilities? What does it take to be in your shoes?
So it's definitely an all-consuming it's an all-consuming task. So we are a small team. There's myself, we have a chief scientific officer, his name's Alex. He is who historically was working with us. He is currently working as a faculty member at a university now. We have our chief operating officer, Jeff Lee, who's has done a lot, but her role will grow over time. And right now, we've only raised pre-seed at this point. We have the round we raised was fairly small, so we have not been able to hire or outsource much of anything. So if anything that has been done, it's pretty much been done internally.
Sure.
So we've gotten a little bit of we've gotten some help from collaborators that we're certainly thankful for. And aside from that, our team, and also Aiden, who happens to be my stepson. Also, he's done a little bit of the web development as well. He's been helpful, but for the most part, it's been under-resourced and kind of trying to put out 10 fires with one firefighter.
Yeah, makes sense. And you did mention like within the next quarter or so, we should have something that like at least a prototype that we can actually use, right? So at that stage, what's the goal? Like, is it going to other businesses? Is it going direct to consumer, or what's your vision?
Very, very good question. First, a clarification. So we do have out in the wild, we already have an open source proof of concept. So that's our the repo for our core algorithm that the LLM's built on top of. That's open source. Anyone can use that. It's licensed under the Apache 2.0 license. But as far as the end-to-end platform that makes this into a drag and drop operation, we're looking at about a 90-day target release, and we're looking to target the SMB market. We see a big unmet need there. Large enterprise, they've already got solutions that are relevant to their use. If there's a niched problem that can be solved with AI, they're on the phone with name a big three consulting firm. They got somebody sitting there, and they've got a committee sitting there, and a couple months later they've got something running. We're trying to reach those that, well, it's a large enough company that there's a problem to solve.
Yeah.
There's something to work with, but we're not at the point where we're underserved. So companies under 800 employees, I hesitate to put a minimum size there, because this is really something even a one person team, a single solopreneur could use. I think that the most common consumer is going to be in the 20 to 50, above 20 to 50 employees, up to 800 employees, and then that's really our initial target.
Yeah, makes sense. So that does take a lot more planning and a very different architecture based on the target audience. So
very much so. And that's one of the things that we found over time. Another factor that really pushed me into this was seeing how, I was on a team of about 800 people on my last corporate job. And we had, we had a team from the cloud provider who shows up. They do demos. They show ways to leverage their technology. And one thing I really noticed was that adoption was very slow. And it wasn't just very slow because of the organizational red tape. It was just like this. Some of the solutions that were being pitched just weren't just architecturally, they were solving the wrong problem. And that was another factor there. But architecturally, what the SMB market needs, it's just completely different. A large company is going to prioritize autonomy, having something that runs consistently, even at the expense of having a lot of idle resources, as long as it's air gapped, it's in their environment, and it's stable. Small businesses, they need the stability, they need it to work, they need it to run. But if something's not doing work at the moment, they're not going to pay for that.
Yeah.
Not for that period of time. They need something that, when what they're doing is active, they're paying for it. When they're not, they're not. And, we have to develop that architecture around those constraints where we can accommodate that. If we don't, where we can accommodate that and do so in a way that is profitable at their, but under their budgetary constraints. And if we aren't doing that, we'd come to the same conclusion that a lot of the enterprise vendors have come to, and that's that they can't serve that market with their business model.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about, I know right now you might be very, very, very busy, like getting this working, but and like very excited about exactly what you're doing. But in addition to that, like, are you seeing any other trends in the industry that like anything that's coming up soon? Any other pieces of technologies that you are seeing coming up?
Well, a lot of things. Agents obviously it's a combination of something that is emerging and something that's hyped to a degree. And of course, agents is one of our targets. Personalization is our first target because that's that's where we see the standing to have the biggest impact at the moment. Multimodal AI combining a lot of different data sources and having more flexibility in what they can accommodate. That's certainly a trend there. I think that I also see like this parabolic pattern as well, where there's adoption, there's hype, and then there's some degree of reality hits.
Yeah.
And I think part of that's intrinsic, but a lot of it really comes down to the same problem that we're working on, and that's the SMB market and large enterprise have completely different user requirements, and a lot of AI companies that have been around are creatures of habit. There's a big enthalpy to overcome before change in how we're doing things comes about. And I think that is one of the biggest drivers of that hype and then decline pattern. And the faster we make AI relevant, the less we're going to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, in addition to that, like, what do you see as a 5-year plan for Cerebros? Within the next 5 years, like, where do you see yourself and the company?
So 5 years, we would like to be, we want to launch the personalization, the AI assistant personalization service. From there, over the coming year or two, build, integrate with an agentic framework, with agentic frameworks, integrate our platform into a multimodal AI. That's certainly an important factor. What our goal, I would say in a 7-year timeline would be kind of an IPO exit. But right now we're really laser focused on the next year. That's really our focus, and that is get this platform completed, get it in users' hands. We already have people asking for it. We need it in their hands, and we need to quickly from there integrate it into multimodal. The back end of this is already designed for multimodal, but we've got to we need to scale that to into the drag and drop platform, make it relevant for day-to-day users to be able to leverage this.
Makes sense.
No matter what we come up with, if we can't make it relevant to the user and demonstrate it in a way that that people who are actually making the decisions and are actually benefiting from the success of those decisions understand.
Makes sense. Yeah. So going back a little bit, if somebody else wants to repeat what you are doing, kind of just a career journey, right? Not the specific technology or a specific product, but let's say somebody is interested in, they have an idea and they want to do something similar. Are there any tips and recommendations that you can give them, like on how to succeed? What are some of the things that somebody should be aware about before launching a product or a company?
So I'm going to try my best to condense, this to where it fits.
Sure.
Core things that I say to everyone, whether or not you're doing this, just anyone in leadership in general.
Mhm.
First off, stay healthy and live by your values.
Mm-hmm.
Faith and family are important. Live by it.
Mm-hmm. That's
Find a good church or community. Put your faith and family before your business.
mm-hmm.
Going to the gym, eating right, taking care of your physical and mental health. When one mistake I made in the past, you see a huge undertaking you've got to do.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that was the core algorithm behind this.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the office probably 15 hours a day for probably at least 2 months. I
Yeah.
should not have done that. That was a big mistake. I
Yeah.
should, if I had a do-over on that, I probably would have completed it faster if I had just slowed down a little bit. Um, took some time to go for a walk when I'm hung on a problem, things like that. That keep your, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Keep focused. Um, Other things, always tell the truth, tell it like it is. If you need to, um, if you feel pressure to not be forthcoming over a relationship or a connection, it's one you need to let go of.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Success is built less on the relationships you do have than it is the ones that you let go of, the ones that you avoid.
Yeah.
Just like in business, anything that makes you lose money hurts you 10 times as bad as anything that makes you money will gain you.
Yeah.
You have to sell 10 um, products in order to make up for one product that tanked.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
same thing in relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. So it's important to like stay focused, take care of yourself, and then it's only then the productivity and the innovation and success is a byproduct of being disciplined.
Yeah, and on the very same note, find your tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Do not we founders will have this mindset often that, you know, I can solve any problem anywhere. It's really not true. You
Mm-hmm.
can solve any problem, but if you're if if you're in a place where structurally it's not conducive to success, you gotta move quickly. If you're in a and same thing with executives, same thing with people in leadership, same thing with people at a job. If you're somewhere that structurally doesn't make sense,
Mm-hmm.
it's the environment around you isn't conducive to your success, get out.
Mm-hmm.
Your founders especially have that mindset. I'm going to make it better. I'm going to sell a better way to do things. Reality is you got to you got to find the right people, work with them, and it's easier to it's both easier and more productive to work with those in alignment with your objectives than to try to work otherwise. Avoid conflict. This is one that's especially important. So there's a fable of the lion, the tiger, and the donkey. I don't know if anyone's heard it, right? So the lion, okay, so the tiger and the donkey get in are going back and forth about what color the grass is, right? The donkey tells the lion, that tells the tiger, sorry, the grass is blue. The lion says, no, it's green. What's wrong with you? Why are you saying this? And they go back and forth. So of course, they go to the king, the lion, and they try to have him be an arbiter of the matter. So the tiger says, well, this idiot's been arguing with me, says that the grass is blue and you can clearly see it's green.
Yeah.
Aren't you going to do something about this? And he says, well, okay, the donkey says you're lying and he says it's blue. You know what? I'm going to settle this right now. I'm going to say it's blue and tell both of you to get out of here. The donkey says, well, aren't you going to punish him for lying? And he said, the lion says, yeah, I'm going to punish him. All right. Now, both of you get out of here. You're wasting my time, both of you.
Yeah.
So the tiger says, well, why am I being punished? He says, well, you're being punished not because what you said was wrong. You're being punished because you wasted your time.
Yeah.
In an argument.
Yeah.
That didn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's how it is in business. If you're you can debate with people, you can bring up conversation where you're looking at different alternatives and trying to decide on the best way to solve a problem. But when you're completely in disagreement, you get nowhere. There's a point you've either got to agree to disagree, you've got to sever a relationship, or you got to move on.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
Yeah. That's so true, and it's so deep. So that is just amazing. So the amount of knowledge that you have just shared, I really appreciate you with sharing that with somebody looking to do a new product, launch a business, do a transformation in their life. I think this is very, very important. So
and really there's just one last one, right? And that is to stair step your way to growth.
Okay.
Bootstrap a small, you look at a problem that's overwhelming. Don't look for a solution to that problem. Look for problems along the way that, if you solved, would push you in the direction of solving that problem. So, same thing with a career. Look for a series of incremental growths. Start at one role, move up one level. Move on to the next company, move up one level, move on to the next company, move up one level. Growth, linear growth and exponential growth are your options. Linear growth is faster at first. Exponential growth always starts slower. And then later on, there's this explosion.
Yeah.
Look for opportunities to make that exponential growth. Look for feasible problems to solve now that the resources, relationships, and the results of that make the next bigger one you have in mind easier to solve and follow that staircase up.
Okay.
That's one of my biggest pieces of advice.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. So that's like extremely insightful. So as we are almost closer to the end of this recording, I always like to ask, like, what are some of your hobbies and what do you like to do in the free time?
Well, I like to be physically active the best I can. Like to spend, I like to spend time in nature. Luckily, where I live, we have, we have some beaches nearby. That is one, it's one of the advantages, that we do have living here. Um, I do have a little bit of an all-consuming combination of, work and family. But other than that, just trying to learn, trying to listen to, just listen to podcasts or just podcasts or videos where I'll learn something that matters in the long run.
Nice. Yeah, that's very, very, very useful to keep learning and keep making progress, right, in life. And just
And of
as you
course, my
said,
faith.
so slow growth leads to exponential success in the long run. Cool. So thanks today for coming on the show on a special Good Friday. So thank you, and I really appreciate you sharing all your knowledge and insights with our audience.
Any other questions or clarifications before we go?
So just maybe one last thing, like what's the best way somebody can reach you?
Oh, absolutely. So my email, David at cerebros.one, or look for me on LinkedIn. I'm in David Thrower. I'm in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Should be able to recognize the face out of the crowd, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. It's and it says like if I think if at least right now your title says with the company name is the Cerebros Auto ML platform. I think that might be one more way to like just confirm that you're reaching out to David.
Yes, and the company's website, cerebros.one, cerebros.one.
Cool. Sounds great. Thanks a lot for sharing very valuable insights, and I'm very excited about the product. I would love to like, even if it's like beta testing, trying things out. If there is any way I can contribute, feel free to like let me and everyone else in this audience know about it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. And definitely anyone out there who is um, has an AI science background, I'm always looking for collaborators and, potential additional co-founders and or seed round investors. So anyone who's out and wants to be part of it, please feel free.
Yeah, I definitely can think of a couple of people I've interviewed, and I'll get both of you connected.
Sounds great. Thank you so much for having me, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, David.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Mainstreet Minds. Want to share your journey with our audience? Head over to mainstreetmindspodcast.com/guest to apply.